2024. What an interesting year for rail fanning. It was just all rail fanning. Rail fanning. And quite possibly some more rail fanning, if you were lucky enough. But there were also a few things that happened on my channel that you guys might also remember. And in this video, we're going to be diving in on all those things. And possibly some other things that also happened during 2024. So first things first, that really actually happened in Chicagoland during January of 2024. All the F40s were straight up just removed from the Milwaukee district lines. They were straight up just like Thanos snapped out of them. They were all just gone. The last one I ever actually caught was 104. And those were twice in a week I caught it. The last time I caught it was the first day of January still on the holiday train. And then the second time, it was no longer on the holiday train. It was on a straight up outbound during the rush hour. It was so weird. Twice in a row in the same week. Metro was speedy on removing its lights and everything. It just didn't have anything after that. After the second time I caught it. I did find out that the holiday train was still running though. The whole Metro little whatever you would call it, Majing Gallery, yes. It was still running. Metro didn't take apart the entire little fleet-a-majig they had running. It was still out there. I saw a video of it trailing behind an SD70 Mac, because of course they would be. It couldn't be anything else special. It just had to be a damn Mac. Which those are going to become relevant more as the months continue on to 2024. Later on, well actually not later on, there wasn't really anything special that happened on my channel during the first few months of 2024. It was just boringness, more Metro train catches, and also the increment of Macs on the Milwaukee district lines, taking over essentially everything. It was also during this time I have realized the F-59s were not becoming as common as they used to be, which was actually more of a bad omen. And you want to know why? Because history repeated itself at this point. History repeated itself at this point. And you want to know why? I'll tell you why. The SD70 Macs were taking over the Milwaukee district lines. And this has happened once with another locomotive that Metro had purchased from another railroad. The F-59 PHIs. When they first came, they weren't as common on the lines. As the months continued on to years, they were common as hell. They just felt like another locomotive that was common as hell. Another significant thing that happened is the 83, another F-59 PHI, got a P5. And let me just tell you, that P5 sounds horrendous. Here's a little sample of what it sounds like right now. Sounds terrible, right? Yeah, it does. I've only seen it twice, but even I know I don't want to catch it. It might be a P5, but that thing sounds disgusting. It sounds like a P5 right off of NS's roster. And that is actually just disgusting. They massacred a perfectly good P5 that probably came off a retired F40 if you think about it, because Metro's not just pulling F5s out of their ass. They're getting them from other locomotives, clearly. Another significant thing that happened during this time, I started wrapping all my N-scale fleet. All my gallery cars now have a heritage wrap on them. With the exception at the time, one of my cab cars, It remained unwrapped, like, around this point. It remained like this for a few months, but that will come up back in the future. A couple more things that happened on my channel during this time were the increment in Railfan meme videos I was producing. Like, the first ones I'm pretty sure came out last year during around the end of 2023. After that, I just shifted the production towards them because I realized that's the only thing keeping my channel up. That's the only thing that's keeping my channel alive. And I am not afraid to say that because anytime I upload a video, it underperforms terribly. And I'm at the point I have no idea why. Time to go on to the things that did not happen on my channel, but did happen in the Railfan community, which is just killing itself as we speak. Well, first of all, we have Capital City Rail Productions. The guy who derailed the train in Nebraska. Which makes sense. It's Nebraska. What can you expect from Nebraska? There's nothing fun there. It's just nothing fun. I've never heard of a person having fun in Nebraska. Next up, we have the amount of rail fans that turned into pedophiles during this time. Well, actually, it wasn't during this time. It was months after, but you get the gist. The amount of rail fans that also were trespassing on locomotives and were getting just flamed for it was absolutely hilarious. I don't condone any of that. I do not condone a single bit of that. I just laugh whenever someone brings something like that up, because how do you even manage to get on a locomotive, get in the cab? I feel like there should be a regulation where they have to lock the door every time you leave, unless the doors for the cabs just don't have locks, then that's a major safety hazard. Later on in 2024 was the point where I realized the Railfan community is starting to kill itself slowly. And how exactly? Drama, trespassing, becoming pedophiles. You heard me right. I didn't stutter like that. I did not stutter at all at that. Back to things that happened in Chicago. So during this time, which I'm pretty sure we're already around May, I hope, a bunch of things I've started to notice. The SD70 Max have taken over the Milwaukee District lines entirely. Chicagoland rail fans are just completely torn each other apart. Any Discord server I was in at that time was hell. Continues to be. Nothing's changed, really. The amount of times I've seen someone be exposed for something was hilarious and very common. I don't think there would a week go by where I didn't hear at least a bit of drama happen. Fast forward to June, the Franklin Park Railroad days. The most disappointing one ever. Quite possibly. During this time, oh, that was an awful voice crack. During this time, there was already a CPKC painted locomotive running. But apparently, Canadian Pacific did not think of, I don't know, maybe taking that one to the railroad days and brought, what was it, an AC-44? Yeah, I think it was an AC-44 and a Tier 4 Jibo from Kansas City Southern to the railroad days with a CP caboose. The amount of disappointment that happened was absolutely depressing. Not to mention, we had another F59PH on Metro that was there, and an SD70 Mac 500 that was also there. Not really that special if you think about it. It's just a Mac. it's just a Mac. If you want to see a Mac, go to CSX. They have plenty in service right now. They're currently probably rebuilding more right now. And the amount of people I heard that were absolutely fucking disappointed by that is absolutely hilarious. Don't get your hopes up. I still remember the 2022 Railroad Days. That one was pretty awful as well. It was essentially the 2024 one, but actually like slightly better because it actually had more than 2 locomotives on either side. Now let's fast forward a few months because nothing really happened during July to July to at least October. Nothing like really fascinating happened. I didn't really catch anything. After October, a lot of shit started to go down in the railfan community. People like were accused of trespassing onto locomotives, which turned out to be true. A new Discord server was formed called the Union Station Discord server, which is by like 3 big content like creators. They were 3 big railfan content creators, if that's how you would even say it. Probably you would. Let's just say that specific Discord server lasted about 2 months until it destroyed itself and started just killing itself. The moderation was atrocious. The members were also atrocious. Buccaneer Railfanning turned out to be a pedophile. I've only actually seen one of his videos, but still. Even it shocked me when I first heard about it and when I first discovered that the Union Station server was just imploding on itself, which was actually pretty funny because even I know that big Discord servers like that, owned by rail fans. I'm not gonna finish that sentence. You should know what should go after that. A Discord server owned by rail fans is let's just say they don't end well. I've been in plenty that just die, or do they just get deleted because the owner has drama involved. Not my first case. So seeing that happen at that scale is absolutely hilarious to me. And the amount of drama that happened between the Buccaneer Railfanning and that community of rail fans was also pretty funny. Not that I condone being a pedophile, I do not condone that. But the amount of memes that came out of that was also pretty funny.
Buccaneer Railfanning! Pull your pants up! Pull your pants up, Buccaneer Railfanning!
Again, it's not my first rodeo dealing with Discord drama. I've been in plenty. And also during this time, well actually before this time, about a month before, I finally started to get good catches. I caught, a BNSF train led by 2 -9s and 2 Jibos, but we could screw off the Jibos, we don't care about Jibos. And they were leading a crude oil train. I caught that. It was also around this time where I discovered the Savannah Railcam on YouTube. It was also a pretty helpful thing to catch trains. That was pretty much my only good catch at the time. Skip on to at least a month later, or 2 months later, I attempted to catch the CPKC holiday train. Failed. Caught it at Pringley Grove. And not that really good of quality. Yeah. I caught it at Pingree Grove. That's all I'm gonna say. I just caught it. I do have videos of it and pictures of it. They're just not really all good pictures, hence I never released a video on it. A few weeks later, I catch the Metro holiday train. Actually a good catch, even though I almost missed it. Barely had time to catch it leaving, and also barely almost had time to catch it entering the station. Fast forward to that same day. That same day I caught a CP253 with a great ghost speed. Absolutely wonderful, which the engineer just loved his job. He was just going off on the horn the entire time while he approached National Street, which was beautiful. Fast forward to at least another 2 weeks, I find out about the whole Union Station drama and the collapse of the entire server due to the owner. And it was also during this time when I realized The surplus of F59 PHIs that Metro has is not doing them really favors, as they most of them are out of service as we speak. And I don't really think they're gonna come back since the Macs are just taking over. And I think Metro saying at the beginning of their ownership that they were gonna repaint all of them into a lightning bolt scheme is just a big lie. Years have gone by, they're still like this, and only one wears the lightning bolt scheme. And I think as the fact that the SD70 Macs have taken over, I think Metro's just gonna end up retiring like 90% of the fleet of F59 PHIs. Jesus Christ. And that is pretty depressing because I prefer the F59 PHIs over the Macs. You can hunt me down for saying that. I know there's a foamer at least out there that enjoys seeing the SD70 Macs. I just don't really care for them. 6 axles, my ass. The F40Cs were much better. And speaking of F40Cs, great news during the time of December. There was a Twitter, at least I think it's a Flickr post. There we go. A Flickr post saying, like, they had a picture of an F40C 614 in the Metro shops next to a Mac. What could this possibly mean? They're coming back, baby. They're coming back. After years of them being in the deadline track. I did not mean to make that rhyme. Oopsie. We're finally seeing something being done with at least one of them. And during this time, there was also another, I don't know what platform it was. Probably, no. That one was going to go into Franklin Park for display, and the other one was going to go into the Illinois Railroad Museum. And let's just say, everyone got excited for that. Until we all realized it was a lie. The guy was lying. Which is why you don't trust people on the internet. Don't trust me. Don't trust internet people. It was also around this time where I went back out Rail Fanny to try to catch the Metro holiday train. And also 120, since it was like a month prior, it was repainted into an honoring or veteran scheme. Which I don't think is the actual name of the heritage unit, but I don't really care. Which I also managed to catch 120 back when it was in its normal blue and red scheme. Fun times back then. That was 3 years ago. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Like I was saying, during this time I was trying to catch both. I failed at catching 120 since it was on the Milwaukee District West. I failed at catching it, but I did not fail at catching the holiday train twice in a row. I caught it once on Sunday and another time on Monday, which is straight up a day before Christmas Eve, which is the perfect time of catching it. And that about wraps up everything that happened in 2024. I may have missed a few things in 2024, like the CPKC Empress tour that made it go all the way to Mexico, which ended up terribly. And I also may have missed the Union Pacific 4014 tour. Jesus Christ, I'm studying way too much. I may have also missed that one, though. I don't really care for any of those tours. Plus, 4014 is just overrated as well. Doing a good that about wraps up 2024. See you y'all in 2025.